Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh. It's NSO Game of the Week, Battletoads. You're seeing it on screen right now. Before we get into this, you guys know these streams and shows are powered by Elgato, n64josh.com/Elgato. Use code N64Josh at checkout to save a little bit of cash. This has been a fun one, you guys. This has been a fun one. So we're going to jump right into it. So I want to say what's up to the chat. I see you guys hanging out already. Welcome on in. Let's talk about the overview. Battletoads here. 1991 beat 'em up platformer developed by Rare for the NES. It was created in response to the popularity of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and features three humanoid toads named Rash, Zitz, and Pimple. That was always a fun one to tell my mom the characters' names. She was like, this game is gross. The game is known for its cartoon style, fast-paced variety, and extreme difficulty. It was later ported to multiple systems and returned in rare replay, and again on Nintendo's classic service on November 26th, 2025. Let's talk about the story summary. Professor T. Bird and the Battletoads escort Princess Angelica back to her home planet. During the trip, Pimple and Angelica are kidnapped by the Dark Queen. Rash and Zitz are deployed to Ragnarok's world to fight through the Queen's forces, completing a stage-by-stage rescue mission. Between levels, the Toads receive mission updates and taunts. The game ends with Rash and Zitz reaching the top of the Dark Queen's tower, rescuing their friends and escaping while the Queen retreats into space. Take a quick peek at the gameplay, development, and the legacy. Battletoads mixes beat 'em up combat with racing, climbing, platforming, high-speed obstacle stages. Its exaggerated smash hit finishers, humor, and animation became hallmarks of the series. Rare intentionally made the game very difficult to increase replay value, which cemented its reputation as one of the hardest games ever made. The game was wildly praised at release for its variety, music, creativity, and winning multiple Nintendo Power Awards. Its success led to sequels, a Game Boy spin-off, an arcade entry, and even a cartoon pilot. Battletoads remains a standout in the 8-bit era. So, here we go. Cryptic said, also fun fact, I didn't know Battletoads started on NES until I was in college. My first experience with Battletoads and Double Dragon on the SNES. Yes, I love it. That is great. Nady Nay says, I have a full Battletoads complete in box. Yo, for real? That is awesome. I love that. That is super, super cool. Joey says, just got home, gonna play it while you talk about it. I mean, Joey, as a fan of Donkey Kong, that automatically makes you a fan of Rare, I would assume. So therefore, this is probably going to become one of your favorite games of all time. You'll probably never see past the third level, but it could still become one of your favorites. Nadine A said Rare could really do no wrong. This is so true. Cryptic says, funny that the arcade version came later. It definitely feels like an arcade game already. Yeah, it's kind of it's strange that it's the reverse. If you think back to when we were kids and we were playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, right? It was that was a port. Not and that's typically how things went. Rarely did we see where a home console game got turned into an arcade game outside of things like the Play Choice 10. You know, there was Mario Brothers Versus and Excite Bike, that kind of stuff, but typically to see like the reverse happening, not very common. Not very common. So Joey said, yeah, this was pre-DK though. But I love Rare. Here we go. I love it. Well, Um, as mentioned, as we went over the overview, I don't know about you guys, and I've talked about this some, but you are in the presence right now of one of the biggest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans ever, ever. That's me. Now, I'm talking more so as a kid. Like I still enjoy them to this day. Like they're they're fine, but like going back to you know mid '80s, early '90s, and Ninja Turtles was huge for me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game, like I mentioned earlier, that was a game that I would play through to completion and start over, and just loved it. Would play with every turtle. It was the first game you guys have heard me mention before. The first game that I stayed up all night long and watched the sunrise. Couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my goodness, I think I'm gonna be in trouble." It was amazing. It was amazing. So this this was right up my alley. I love turtles. Battletoads just made sense. I'm like, this is super, super cool. And and it was hard. I would go to Highway Home Electronics on the it was literally this little electronics store at the on the connected to a gas station right on I-5. Just literally right on that's why they called it Highway Home because it was literally right on the highway. And I would rent Battletoads all the time. I loved this game. Even though it was super super hard, like I never all of my memories of this game are never like not enjoying it. Like the first time I played it and you saw like the big fist and the big boot and the way their mouths would drop open, their jaws would hit the floor like when a boss would show up. It was just like, what this is like this isn't like anything we'd really experienced before. So there was so much production value and so much cool stuff. Even eating the bugs was like it wasn't pizza, you know? It wasn't pizza. It wasn't just sitting there for you. You had to make sure you caught the bugs, and I loved that. I uh I love it. So, grabbing some chats here. Let's see. Boo Mini said, "Is this the original Battletoads? I love this one." Yes. So our NSO every week we do a game of the week, and this was our game for last week. And so like I literally have Nintendo thumb right now from playing this with my NES controller. You guys are seeing my gameplay right now from earlier tonight. I had to put down Metroid to play some more Battletoads because I wanna make sure I'm getting some time in with these before we talk about it. And I had such a good time. It's such a good time. Cryptic said, also, I want to note that I don't think it's, hard for being frustrating hard. I think it's learning the patterns, and when you die, it's your fault not getting your timing. Very true. Very true. He also says, "I think that's why it has that more, one more run feeling and addictiveness." Oh, 1,000%, yes. Yeah. Nate said, "Well, it's the same with, Ninja Gaiden on NES." I love that. There you go. Cryptic says, "Out of all the games we played, this one had so much animation for an NES game. Felt like playing a Ren and Stimpy cartoon. It must have been ahead of its time." Oh, yes. Yeah, that's like you kinda hit the nail on the head. Like, there was so much fun with this game because of the animations. You're throwing stones at that boss fight, like, you're throwing it at the screen. Like, you didn't really see that kinda stuff happening in these, in NES games. Like, I played a lot of platformers and a lot of, side scrollers, Batman, uh, Chippendales Rescue Rangers, Mickey Mouse, DuckTales, the Turtles games, that the arcade game and stuff. Like, this was like you know how Mario 3 kind of, like, set that bar really high? Like we talked about? That's what Battletoads did. Battletoads was like, "Yo, this isn't like your average NES game." Because if you I mean, you look at the first Super Mario Brothers, look at Contra, some of the real early titles on the NES, they aren't looking like this. That sprite work and that animation was crazy. So you guys just watched me fall into the lava or whatever that is, like multiple times there. It was quite sad for me. I really just wanted to get to the jet skis. So Joey says, I want to play more NES games. Are there any other like cheap alternatives to the NES controller for Switch 2? Uh, so if you were only going to get, if like, let's say you just want to get one to try to cover the majority of Nintendo Switch Online, I would say go with the Super Nintendo controller. Although, I think they're individual. That might be a pack though. I can't remember. I would say that. Otherwise, 8-bit Dough has a ton of controllers that are like this, and so I think I think I think they'd be a great fit for you for playing some of the classic games for sure. So I know, Nate, you're laughing at me, right? Like I just had to catch my you'll see that was the last time just now I kicked that guy in the face. That was I think that's the last time I fell off. So oh, the controllers are always sold out. I got you. Okay. Yeah, 8-bit dough, they're very very reasonably priced. So yeah. Yeah, check that out. So you guys are seeing me do seeing me do the the jet ski, right? The bike section now. I had saw somebody had put that like the 10th block that drops is a warp. And I was like, "Oh, I'm going to hit this." Well, it's not until the very very last section. So I wasted my lives right here trying to see if this warp existed, but it didn't. But it's the very last section where there's like no indicator that there's blocks coming. That's where the warp is at. So, but by that point, I mean, yeah, it's cool to get out of there. That's nice, but you're at the you're at the finish line of all the pain. So, uh, but I gotta say, like my time with this, I played some last week, and the just the second level ended up. I don't think I even got past the second level until I ran out of continues, and so when I sat down tonight, I'm like, okay, I used to breeze through the first level and the second level. This should not be that difficult. I used to get to the bikes no problem. I even beat the bikes periodically, right? And so I'm like, all right, I got to do this. And I felt like my runs were pretty good on the bikes once I got down to it. I think I had two sections remaining in order to finish this level before I ran out of continues. But I'm like, I was just having a blast. Like I was having fun. And that's the other thing. When you die like on the bikes and your toad flies across the screen and splatters on the wall, that was like iconic. It was so good. Just so good. I loved it. I loved it. And it made going back and playing this just that much more fun, honestly. I there's a ton of nostalgia for this game, but it also just holds up. I feel like this would be a fun one to like pick as like a challenge that we all do for a month and just see who can get the furthest. If anybody can end up beating it, and just the conversations that would come from it, because it's like this is NES era that was no joke. You got there's other hard games, Ninja Gaiden, the Contra games, like they're no joke as well. And this one's right up there. But this section, was just it was so much fun. I like I wasn't even mad that I had to do this a couple of times. And I wouldn't be mad having to go back to it again and just really getting those patterns down. So, Batman on the NES was like a Ninja Gaiden clone, and it was it had some difficulty to it. Yeah, I don't think it was as hard as, Ninja Gaiden though, but it did have some difficulty for sure, but still an absolutely stellar game. All of Batman's different power-ups. It would be such a cool get to get that on NSO, but I have a hard time thinking they could get that, getting that license. I mean, who knows? There is a chance, but I wanna hear from you guys, like, going back to this, I know Cryptic played quite a bit of it. I don't know if anybody else had a chance to jump in, but, like, did you how did you fare on the, on the bike level here? Like, how many checkpoints did you get? Did you have a good time with it? Were you pulling your hair out? I know it was my main goal was just to try to get here and see how far I could get on these bikes. And, and I can remember the first time, like, hitting some of the like, that blue jump that's in the air, that was so difficult as a kid, like, so difficult. So, uh, only able to reach the first checkpoint. I gotcha, okay. The ramp timing? Yeah, like, yo, literally, the ramp timing got crazy. Well, and then it gets to a point where there's no ramps, and you've gotta just make the jumps on your own. So, it only ramps up in difficulty, but yeah, I was having a ton of fun. This is the section that I kept messing up. I don't think I made it any further than that, and I just needed to back off a little bit and give myself a little bit of space to get their patterns down. But and the other thing is, I don't feel like the game is super unfair with, like, they give you, like, decent checkpoints and stuff, so I'm like, "You know what?" Like, you get through a section, then you get a checkpoint, uh, that seems fair. It's on me to try to remember them, but at the same time, as difficult as that was, it's like, "Okay, I can remember section 1, I can remember section 2, section 3." Like, if I were to jump back into it tonight, I'd probably get up to the last section, and then, if I went one more time, I could probably end up beating it and moving on to stage 4. But it also it's a testament to how much I played it as a kid. Like, I spent a lot of time like, I just felt like almost like muscle memory, even though I haven't played this in, I mean, probably, like, getting to that stage again, 35 years, like, it's been forever, but it just felt like muscle memory. So, um when did the other toads become playable? Were they only backstory in the manual? Uh, so the story is, let's see, I had it at the beginning here. Give me one sec. So the Pimple and uh yeah, so Rash and Zitz are the two players that you can play in this version. And uh Pimple and Angelica were kidnapped. So there was all 3 toads, and I believe they're even on the, no, I think it's just 1 toad on the box art, but yeah, by the time this was hitting, the the Super Nintendo and things like that, there was more options. I wanna check the box art to see if it shows more than just. Oh, yeah, so you can see all 3 of them. All 3 of the toads are on the box art. They're just kind of in the background is all. So so they are there. And I mean, I remember playing this on the Game Boy, which was also crazy. But I mean, even looking at, like, some, Nintendo Power, like, 1991 Nintendo Power Nestor Award winner, you had, the Battletoads one, and it shows all 3 of them. So, yeah, they're definitely all 3 part of the story, and if you guys have a chance to play Rare Replay, go and check out, Battletoads Arcade. It is It's awesome. It is awesome. I think that's probably the last time I spent, much time with Battletoads was when Rare Replay came out, and I was like, "Yo, I could play the arcade game of this," and the graphics are kind of insane, honestly. Um, you know how you get a giant fist or a giant boot? They're huge in that game. So, uh, here we go. Here we go. Joey bringing up, uh, Mario 3 again. Nate says, "I mean, even Mega Man was known for its difficulty too." Yeah, no joke. No joke. Mega Man, I think, again, it kinda boiled down to your patterns and stuff, right? And understanding which bosses to go after first, and then once you had those levels down, it was like, oh, you could fly through it, but, I mean, and that's really true. That's really true with anything. It's just a matter of can you put that much time into it uh, to get to that point? That's where we get difficult. But I mean, the majority of us were getting these games, and it was like, this is my game for the year, or this is what I'm gonna rent for as many weekends as possible. So, uh, Ninja Turtles and Battletoads love doing that throwing at the screen. They did, like, if I remember correctly, did that happen in Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project? Because I don't remember it until Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo. But you can correct me if I'm wrong. I just don't remember the Manhattan Project having that as something that they did. Although it is possible because that was a much later, Turtles game as well. So, the birds are so necky from Donkey Kong Country, you can see the DNA Rare had. Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, the fact that we're getting so many of these rare classic games on NSO is honestly fantastic. Like, I wasn't sure it was gonna be possible, but to have games, it it it's silly. But even to have a game like RC Pro Am that I could just go and play whenever I wanted, like, that was a big game for me as a kid. Like, I remember the night, I was at, like, Pay and Save, something like that. It was connected to the old mall that was slowly dying, and their games were just a little bit cheaper, and my parents were like, "Yeah, let's get a game tonight," and it ended up being RC Pro Am, and so the just the amount of amazing games that Rare put out, like, it was just fantastic in that era of gaming. What I found really interesting too is that Trade West like, was tied to this, and I'm not sure if it was like like, what exactly their deal was, if they were publishing and Rare was developing, uh, and why Nintendo wasn't developed, like, or wasn't the ones, publishing it, since it was Rare, but it's interesting on the box art um, to see Trade West, because that was on I mean, that was a lot of games. That and Data East, like, it would be so sick to be able to get, like, Bad Dudes and RoboCop. They were some fantastic, NES titles. I don't remember who put out Narc, but that was another one that was really good that my mom did not want me playing whatsoever. So, grabbing a few more chats here, Joey said, "Rare classics, but no Diddy Kong Racing and DK64, like Wario came before Diddy." Here we go. We did get that announcement of a new GameCube game tonight, which, uh, it looks slick. It looks really good, so yo, we need Rampage. Yes. Yes, we do. Rampage on NES would be amazing, and Wizards and Warriors, yo, so good. Yes, Rockin' Cats is one I'm not familiar with, um, but definitely Wizards and Warriors and Rampage would be so good. So good. Like, just classic games. And what was I mean, Rampage is in my collection. Wizards and Warriors, I believe I have in my physical collection as well. And going back and playing stuff like Rampage, like I will get excited if I see Rampage in the arcade. I will throw a quarter in just for the nostalgia, right? But that was a game, a buddy and I, like, we played a lot of Rampage, so it'd be really cool. And he was the same guy that I would play Battletoads with on the regular. His name was Kyle, and we would uh he also had the Sega Genesis, and so that was where I got a lot of Sega time was at his place as well, and I'd stay over there as often as I could. So got a fair amount of gaming. That's where I played Mortal Kombat with the blood instead of just with the sweat because I only had the Super Nintendo. So Nate said, "For God's sakes, give me Bomberman." Um, Wizards and Warriors also by Rare. Oh, okay, very cool. Cryptic says Super Bomberman was so fun. Yeah, it would be great. Like even worst case, give us a Bomberman collection. It'd be great to get a collection of those games as well. So uh, I wanna take some suggestions from you guys for for next week's game. Like, do you guys have anything that you would like to check out and throw into the hat here? Let's see what you guys would be interested in playing. Streets of Rage 2. Head on over to the Genesis. I'm about it. Let's do it. Streets of Rage 2 it is. So that's gonna be our NSO game of the week next week is Streets of Rage 2. And I think isn't Turtles on the Hyperstone Heist? Isn't it on NSO also? So we could potentially do a Turtles game as well, I think. I have to double check. There's some crazy licensed games over on the Genesis side that are like not I think there's Mega Man over there. I think there's like Contra and Castlevania or something like that. So there's some gems over there. So let's see. Cryptic says I know it's licensing hell, but classic Mega Man on NES would be a dream. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's with Capcom and like just I'll take a quick peek, but I are there to me, I don't really think like it matters if it's NES or Genesis or anything like that. But um, so I assume if like because all the Mega Man games are on Game Boy, all of the Mega Man games are on Game Boy. Like I'm taking a quick peek right now, but so they've got licensing deals with Capcom for some of these games. I just kind of think that the OG NES ones they keep putting out collections for those, and I think it's because they can still make a little bit of money with them. So, but yeah, Mega Man 1 through 5, all on Game Boy, all on Game Boy. So, and we let's see, you haven't done a Sonic game for this game of the week. I can't. I know we've done. I think no. I think we did. I think the only Sega game we did was 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 it like Shinobi or there's another one I can't remember um that's on the Sega Genesis. So I'm opening it up right now. The other thing that throws me off with the Sega Genesis, it doesn't have the red that the NES does or any of the Nintendo systems. So um I just have a quick update on it here. I'm gonna open it up and take a look. So looking at the Sega games, yo, and I really want to get I gotta order one. Yeah, Revenge of Shinobi was the one we did. So, just taking a quick peek here, we got Strider, Streets of Rage 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Shinobi 3, Shining Force, Rising Star, Phantasy Star, uh, 4, Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, Echo the Dolphin is classic. Gunstar Hero is one of my favorite Sega games. So we got Contra and Castlevania on from Konami. Toe Jam and Earl, of course, was fantastic. Thunder Force 2, oh my goodness. So, let's see, is there so don't I don't oh, yo, like, core memory unlocked, Mercs is on here, I didn't even realize. That one was so good. So good, oh my goodness. Sonic Spinball is another one that's great. Mega Man: The Wily Wars is, also on here. Earthworm Jim on here as well. So oh, they have Street Fighter. There's another Capcom one. The Street Fighter Sega Genesis one, which was so difficult to play with only 3 buttons. It was like, press select to do a kick, and you're like, "What?" But Ghouls and Ghosts is also on the Sega Genesis. So that's another I believe that's another Capcom game as well. Yeah. Yeah, it is. So but wow, Mercs is also Capcom. That was one I loved playing back in the day. So there's some stellar ones on here, but let's do Streets of Rage. I love a good beat 'em up. So Streets of Rage 2, that'll be our game of the week. So the first level of music, okay. Comic Zone is on here as well. Yes. Yep. Yeah, and so there was I spent a good chunk of time on the Sega Genesis collection on the Switch because if I wanna say it was Switch and not 360, although I may have done it on both because there was a lot of achievements that were pretty easy to get, but then I remember playing a ton of games on the Switch Sega Genesis collection as well. Like, it was super fun, so, Earthbound, yo, we should do we'll put that in the, like, the NES game, Joey, is that what we're talking about? I think Beginnings. Maybe that can be for the following week, so super cool, alright. Well, Streets of Rage 2 is gonna be and that box art just cracks me up. The artwork is so, so funny. So funny. So, well, appreciate you guys so much hanging out, doing these game of the week. It's like, our little gaming book club that we do, and I absolutely love it. I love it. So, we'll be jumping into some Streets of Rage 2 on the Sega Genesis for next week, and, that's gonna do it for this one. As always, you guys, remember, play it loud.